Get ready for more warm temperatures, few isolated thunderstorms until later this weekend, and areas of poor air quality are going to be possible through the next 36 to 48 hours. Hey everyone, I'm Chief Meteorologist Darrell Winninger from the Central Oregon Daily Weather Center. We're doing a deep dive into your most reliable forecast, and starting off with cameras, we see a couple of different things. First, some clouds really developing across the high desert. There have been a handful of lightning strikes. We'll talk about that and more, but also we can see some of this smoke, and this smoke is mostly from two different fires. These fires are located in the Olympic Peninsula and in Northern California, and that smoke is just coming right into Central Oregon, as well as a few other regional wildfires we're continuing to track. Those are just the two big ones. And through the day, we've had periods of reduced air quality, actually mostly reduced air quality. In fact, our hourly air quality average is, is sitting moderate with some spots that are good. Now, this is from the DEQ. This hourly average is what the guidance is all based off of, but when we look at some of the real-time sensors, we're going to throw those on top of this base map, and these are from eSpace. Now, eSpace is a local company in Bend, and they have a whole bunch of air quality monitoring stations across the Tri-County area and really the state. And what we're seeing is most of them are moderate, except for Sun River, where we're sitting at good, and North Bend as well as West Redmond have unhealthy for sensitive groups. And through today, it's been ranging between moderate and unhealthy for sensitive groups for most of the Tri-County area, and we can see that smoke in several of our cameras. This is going to be settling through the overnight hours, and we are looking at periods of poor air quality. So again, this is what it looks like. When we go ahead and look at a forecast model, we can see a little bit of where some of the smoke is coming from. I'm going to move the camera around just a little bit once it pops up. And there it is. Okay, so Northern California, there is a cluster of fires, or at least one bigger fire, that is continuing to pump a little bit of smoke our way. And the southerly winds overnight help push that in. And over the Olympic Peninsula, there's another fire, winds coming out of the north, pumping that smoke into the high desert also. So when we go ahead and dive in and take a closer look, I'm going to reset this because I moved it around. What we're expecting is through the rest of this afternoon and evening, areas of reduced air quality are expected. Tonight, some areas of poor air quality are in the forecast, and really this smoke, this haze stays with us through Saturday and into Sunday morning. By Sunday afternoon, our next system starts to roll through, and that brings a bigger change up to our weather pattern, not just with smoke, but with rain, thunderstorms, temperatures, all of the above. And so when we go ahead and look at satellite and radar, we notice a couple of things. First, a lot more cloud cover than we had earlier today. Second, a few sprinkles. And third, a couple of thunderstorm cells. And remember, today we were looking at the potential for isolated PM thunderstorms. That's exactly what we're seeing. There was a cell just to the west of Bend that produced some lightning. There's one, it looks like it's right around Pine Mountain, that's also producing a few lightning flashes, and one north of Paulina. When we look a little further to the south, there's more thunderstorm activity over Klamath and Lake counties, and some of that is going to be rolling into the high desert. But let's look back over the last 12 hours, and what we see is there is only a handful of there have been only a handful of lightning strikes today, about a half dozen, and I think we're still waiting on it to catch up. But there was another lightning strike right around Milliken, just to the east of Pine Mountain, from that one cell that's developing right now. And looking back even further, there was a lot more thunderstorm activity yesterday afternoon, not nearly as much as we were looking at, but it did happen. Now here, through the rest of this afternoon and evening, some thunderstorms rolling across the Tri-County area. And when we go ahead and look at this forecast model, I'm going to set it back to right now, and then roll it forward. So I'm going to take this little by little, and then we'll do another quick one later. This is a high-resolution forecast model, and it does show a couple of those cells. Right now it shows the one fizzling out west of Bend. It shows the one that's near Milliken a little further to the south, but that's okay, because here through the afternoon we're looking at a few isolated thunderstorms, mostly the southern half of our Tri-County area. A couple could stray towards the 126 corridor, but for the most part, as I rock this back and forth, it looks like it's southern Deschutes County and southern Crook County, I should say. And then through the overnight hours, we get some clearing. By the time we get to Saturday, we see a repeat in this same weather pattern all the way through the morning hours, mostly sunny. remember that smoke, that haze is going to be sticking around. Periods of poor air quality to start, and then reduced air quality through the rest of the day until we start to get some of that washed out by some, once again, isolated thunderstorm activity. And again, this is going to be the case through today and tomorrow. By Sunday, we see a shift in our weather pattern, and our next system rolls in from the Pacific. That's going to bring with it a clear start, increasing clouds, and then by the early afternoon hours, we start to see some thunderstorms develop, and through the rest of the day, that's just going to be scattered storms pushing through the Tri-County area. So that is something we're continuing to track. Meanwhile, even though we have some of those showers on radar at the moment, our relative humidity is still very low. We're in the teens and 20s for most of the high desert until you get to the higher elevations. Sisters at 30%, 35% at La Pine. So still dry, just not as dry. As showers and thunderstorms start to roll in, we're going to start off with a little bit of virga, and that is rain that evaporates before it reaches the surface. Then a few sprinkles and maybe some thunderstorms, but that also opens the door for dry thunderstorm activity where we're only getting sprinkles and maybe some lightning is going to be expected. In the last 24 hours, temperatures topped out in a range from 79 degrees in Sun River to 92 in Warm Springs. Today, running a little bit warmer. We're sitting in that same range. So you're looking at highs for most of the Tri-County area right now, and we're not done warming up. So 80s, few 90s expected, and right now we're running between 1 degree cooler in Paulina than 24 hours ago to 9 degrees warmer than 24 hours ago. So definitely a warming trend through most of the Tri-County area, and here through the overnight hours, temperatures fall back through the 60s and into the 50s. By Saturday, we're looking at highs once again in the mid to some upper 80s with a few 90s possible. Remember, afternoon is when that potential of thunderstorm activity comes back into play. And so ultimately, our UV intensity forecast for Saturday shows 80s, AM sun, few PM thunderstorms, and then by Sunday we get a dip in that UV intensity forecast. That's because of our next system rolling through. It's still going to be high UV, but not as high, not very high like we're looking at today. By Tuesday, we climb back up to that. And so when we go ahead and look through the entire weekend, our planner shows that Saturday we have some of those isolated thunderstorms, still hazy, with smoke over the area, periods of reduced and even poor air quality are expected. By Sunday, scattered showers and thunderstorms, and a dip in temperatures going from mid to upper 80s with a few 90s to lower to mid 80s and 70s even across parts of the high desert. By Monday, we even get another dip in temperatures. So let's go ahead and look at a different forecast model. This one focuses on surface temperature and any warm air or cool air advection that we're expecting through the next couple of days. Saturday, we have that chance for isolated thunderstorms, highs in the 80s with a few 90s, maybe even a couple of 70s possible as well. But when we go ahead and fast forward to Sunday, that next low starts to roll in. PM showers and thunderstorms are going to be scattered. A dip in temperatures is expected as a cooler air mass follows this or precedes this next low pressure system, I should say. So by Sunday, we're looking at 70s and 80s. By Monday, 70s with some 80s possible. So this is going to be the coolest day out of the next 7 on Monday. It's also when we're expecting clearing, and winds are still going to be a little breezy at times. Could have some AM sprinkles still in the forecast. So when we stretch this out and look at the temperature trend through the next 5 days, roller coaster temperatures. We're going from near average to below average Sunday and Monday. Temperatures start to rebound Tuesday and Wednesday. By Thursday and Friday, we're back into a seasonal range. Tons of sunshine, not much in the way of precipitation. So getting back to that early August pattern that we're all too familiar with, a typical pattern for this time of the year. Now we're going to go to a different forecast model. This one is not quite the high resolution one that we were looking at earlier. It just goes a little bit further, and it shows that by 7 o'clock we still have some showers left on the map, really sprinkles, and that low pressure continues to work its way to the north. Then by the time we get to Saturday, we start off mostly clear, areas of poor air quality, some PM isolated storms are going to be possible again with some sprinkles scattered across the high desert. By Sunday during the early afternoon hours, we're already starting to see some of that thunderstorm development. Remember, Sunday there is going to be a dip in temperature, but that warm air mass is still over the high desert to start the day, and scattered thunderstorms are expected through the afternoon getting into the evening. Overnight Sunday night, some lingering sprinkles are expected, but by Monday we start to clear out and more sunshine is expected later in the day. But when we go ahead and Look a little bit further past that, further into the first week of August, we're going to be using the GFS. This is a long-range forecast model. Typically don't use it on air because it's not as high resolution, but it really helps to paint a picture of what's going to happen days 4 through 8. So the middle and second half of the 7-day planner. And by Monday night, mostly clear. So those clouds really thinning out across the high desert. By Tuesday, tons of sunshine. Under a broad ridge of high pressure, a warming trend sets up. So Tuesday, we're looking at highs in the lower to mid 80s, some 70s on the map. By Wednesday, 80s across the map. In and out light clouds, no rain in sight. By Thursday, we do start to see a little shift in the weather pattern. More cloud cover is expected, mostly sunny to partly cloudy during the afternoon, and not much in the way of precipitation. There is a very low chance for a few sprinkles, but we're talking in our house, my spouse and I, my wife and I called it a Dumb and Dumber chance. So you're saying there's a chance. That's the kind of chance for a few sprinkles we're looking at on Thursday. By Friday, we start to clear out, and we are still unseasonably warm. So between now and 7 a.m. Saturday, we're looking at a few isolated storms. That's this afternoon and evening. Notice it's mostly the southern half of our Tri-County area. We repeat that same chance on Saturday, a chance for some isolated thunderstorms across parts of the Tri-County area, and it could move a little bit further north. A stray thunderstorm either day getting into northern from the 126 corridor up through Jefferson County is expected, or it's going to be possible, I should say. Then by Sunday, that's when we start to see the scattered thunderstorms and showers across the high desert. By Monday, most of us will have gotten wet, and remember there will be some sprinkles Sunday night going into Monday. Currently, wind gusts are not too bad. That's too bad because it could help clear out some of this smoke, but actual wind speeds are about 2 to 12 miles per hour. And through this afternoon, winds are going to get, and evening winds are going to get a little breezy at times, but not too bad. And then by Saturday, same thing. A light breeze picking up in the late afternoon and early evening as thunderstorm activity develops. Around thunderstorms, stronger gusts are expected. And then by Sunday, winds are going to become breezy across the high desert because of this next system. Around thunderstorms, stronger gusts are expected once again. So for tonight, we're looking at 50s and a few 40s. In and out clouds are expected overnight, becoming mostly clear. By Saturday, mostly sunny, becoming partly cloudy with that chance of some afternoon isolated thunderstorms pushing through parts of the high desert. The best chance of rain is going to be from this afternoon through Sunday, with heightened chances of rain on Sunday. That's when we're looking at scattered showers and thunderstorms. A few sprinkles linger into the overnight hours, then we clear out. After that, we have more sunshine than cloud cover and a gradual warming trend that brings us back into the mid to upper 80s with some low 90s, which is right on target for this time of the year late in the 7-day planner. But the coolest couple of days we're looking at through the next 7, it's going to be Sunday and Monday as our system's rolling through, and on the back side of the system it cools down a little bit more, and we are looking at a brief stint of 70s with only some 80s on the map. So, quick recap for you here at your weather headlines for this Friday, Friday, August the 1st. It has been hazy. Periods of poor air quality are expected through the next couple of days until this next system rolls through on Sunday. And during that time, this afternoon and Friday afternoon, some isolated PM thunderstorms are going to be expected as well. That Sunday's cold front brings more rain, scattered thunderstorms across the high desert. And after that, we are going to be clearing out. So a couple quick recaps for you. We still do have some reduced air quality across the Tri-County area. A couple real-time sensors are showing unhealthy for sensitive groups, but a couple are also showing good air quality, and the hourly average is good to moderate. We are tracking anything that develops when it comes to thunderstorm activity. There have already been a handful of lightning strikes through parts of the high desert. Some of those west have been working their way up towards Tumalo, and through the Cascades, the east slopes of the mountains, we have a couple thunderstorms developing right now. That's the latest in weather. Join us tonight on Central Oregon Daily News. Our evening lineup is once again going to be live from the Deschutes County Fair and Rodeo. It is day 3 of the biggest county fair in the state. It's going to be so much fun. So if you're coming down, stop by, say hi. Otherwise, you'll have a good evening and a great weekend. That's the latest in weather. We'll see you later.